Hi, this is Josh with Resort TV 1. Today we're taking a final look at Disney Quest. We hope you enjoyed the video. And of course Disney Quest is now closed. But we took a trip to Disney Quest just a week before it closed to check out all the fun games, attractions, and other activities in this indoor interactive theme park. Disney Quest is located between Cirque du Soleil and Splitsville in the west side of Disney Springs. And I won't be narrating this entire video, I'll just give you highlights as we go along, and you can enjoy the sights and sounds of Disney Quest on your own. And here's the ticket window of Disney Quest, and as you can see the exterior of the building, it used to be a bit lighter when Disney Quest first opened, but it was changed sometime in the last few years to this darker color. A little history about Disney Quest while we look around the exterior of the building. Disney Quest opened in June of 1998 and closed recently on July 2nd, 2017. And of course it sits close to the new orange parking garage, which was surface parking way back when Disney Quest opened in 1998. It also sits next to Splitsville, which was formerly the Virgin Megastore. And as I said before, the color has changed. It was a lighter blue before, and there was a mural painted on the side that I believe depicted dinosaurs of some kind, and I don't think that was there when it opened. It was just there throughout the middle of the attraction's life. And now we'll take a look at the Emporium, which is the shop housed inside of Disney Quest. There's lots of different merchandise inside of this particular shop, and probably because the attraction was set to close so soon, some of the merchandise has nothing to do with video games, such as this houseware, kitchenware type merchandise here, as well as the ubiquitous Disney characters. I can see having the characters in here, but of course there's very little video game related merchandise in this particular shop, so I think they were just using this particular merchandise as filler in the attraction's final operating days. And this is the exit to the attraction, and you can even see some video game machines next to the turnstiles, and of course every Disney attraction has to lead into a gift shop, so it's not surprising that the only exit to the attraction, leads directly into this shop. There you can see some more houseware items as well as mugs and different t-shirts and things like that. Again, nothing really related to video games at all. But I believe at one time there was some video game related merchandise here in this shop. You can see Wreck-It Ralph here, and that's kind of cool to see him star of the famous Disney movie that came out a few years ago. And of course Fix-It Felix, the game that Wreck-It Ralph came from. And there are several Fix-It Felix machines inside of Disney Quest. And rumor has it that these arcade machines inside of Disney Quest will be or have been auctioned off to different cast members at different points. So I'm not exactly sure how that's going to be done, but it would be interesting to end up with one of these arcade machines, even though I don't have room in my house for something like that. It would be amazing to end up with an original Donkey Kong machine or something like that. And now let's go ahead and head inside the building and take a look at the main lobby or the main entrance area of Disney Quest. And here we are inside. And you're going to see these particular titles throughout the attraction. There are 4 zones inside of Disney Quest: Score, Replay, Explore, and Create. So while we're looking around the inside of the lobby area, I'll explain the zone labels. The Score zone is basically more current games and attractions that are based on more current video game technology. Now keep in mind, some of the current video game technology was current in 1998 or 1999, and there have been a few things added since then, but for the most part the Score zone is current video games. The Replay zone, as you might guess, is home to the classic video games such as Donkey Kong, Mario Brothers, Pac-Man, all of those types of games. And there are so many amazing retro arcade machines in that particular area. It's a lot of fun to play those older games and older machines, and marvel at just how difficult they are compared to some of the modern games being just a little bit easier in my opinion. And then the Explore Zone is home to some of the more adventurous attractions where you do get to explore virtual reality, things like that, Pirates, Aladdin, the virtual reality like I mentioned, all the different attractions, the Jungle Cruise, virtual Jungle Cruise, things like that. And of course, as you've probably noticed, the inside of this particular atrium area says supercalifragilisticexpialidocious as I pan around slowly to show you the gold letters that make up the word. You can also see busts of famous Disney characters that are holding up this particular section of the roof. And the clouds are a nice touch here at the top of this dome. There you can see a sign for the Create Zone, as well as an original Mario Brothers arcade machine, which is a lot of fun. You can also see the little Mickey ears on the bottom of the machine there, and that indicates that these particular machines don't take coins anymore. And we'll talk about that more in just a bit. And now we're inside of the main hub area of Disney Quest. And you actually come in on the 3rd floor, and we just went up an elevator, or Cyberlator as it's called. They used to have a show in there with the genie, and it was a lot of fun, but they took that out, and it's really just an elevator now. And you can see inside this hub, there's lots of different decorations that are a lot of fun, neon lights, flashing things, paintings, all kinds of things to make this area look a lot of fun and interactive. And all 4 of the main zones, the Score, the Replay, the Create, and the Explore, all come off of this particular main hub area. So you can choose where to start. And in fact, somewhere in this area, they used to have a slide that went down from one floor to the next, and that was a lot of fun, but they did take that out a few years ago. And here's the entrance to the Explore Zone, which is themed after the mouth of the Cave of Wonders in the Aladdin movie. And the Aladdin virtual reality experience is also inside the Explore Zone, so that's pretty appropriate. Here's the entrance to the Create Zone, which is modeled after a painter's palette, which is also appropriate for creating. And the entrance to the Replay Zone, where I told you could play classic video games of all types, as well as Buzz Lightyear's Astro Blasters, which we'll check out in just a minute. But first, let's look around this hub just a little bit more. I believe that staircase that has the Create Zone sign there on it is where the slide used to be that went down from this 3rd floor down to the 2nd floor, I believe. However, they took that out, and I don't know if it was a safety issue or if the slides just fell into disrepair. But now we'll go into the Replay Zone. And this attraction is Buzz Lightyear's Astro Blasters. It's sort of a cross between bumper cars and shooting Nerf balls at people, so it's a lot of fun. And the way it works is normally 2 people are in each car. There's a driver and a gunner, and so the driver would drive over the Nerf balls that you can see down there on the track, and the gunner will pick them up from the little compartment and put them into the gun and shoot at the other vehicles. And if you hit the other vehicles on the right target, they'll spin out uncontrollably for about 10 to 15 seconds, so it's a lot of fun, but it's very difficult. And we'll check out the inside of the attraction in just a moment. But first, there are these retro arcade machines that I mentioned earlier in the video, because this is the Replay Zone, so you'll see different types of Pac-Man as well as other games that you might have played at your local arcade, or maybe not, but either way they're a lot of fun. And here's a little bit closer look at the inside of the attraction. You can see the cars are fully enclosed, and the Nerf balls on the ground for ammo. And another set of retro arcade machines over here. And now let's look at the game in action. So leave us a comment below and let us know if you remember any of these classic arcade games, either from your childhood or just from your local arcade. A lot of arcades still have some of these games around, and that's a lot of fun. Also, let us know how many of your quarters they ate, especially some of these harder games. And this is the entrance to the score zone, which we'll check out in just a bit, but all these zones do connect in certain places on each floor. And there are stairways that look much like this throughout the building. And the whole area is fairly dark. I've actually got my camera set on low light mode right now, or you wouldn't be seeing quite as much as you do, but this is another look at the hub from a different vantage point, and you can see the score zone and the create zone there. As well as another staircase that goes down next floor down. This is a neat take on the classic Pac-Man game. And here's the entrance to the score zone, which again has more modern types of video games that you might expect, different from the classic games that we saw earlier. And one of the cool things about Disney Quest is there are a lot of games like this Pinball Slam that are very interactive. You can see the people rocking back and forth to make their pinball go around and try and get in the goal there. And the cast members actually control these games and announce and make it really exciting. And another thing I want to look at here is called the Underground, which is an area that has a lot of great video games in it, and it's reminiscent of an arcade that was put into a basement or an old warehouse or something like that. So it's really got a neat retro arcade vibe to it, and it's a very good theming choice by Disney. As I walk through these different rooms, I'm definitely a little bit disappointed that Disney has to close this area because, of course, it could have been refurbished and a lot of different new things added, but it's very charming and very reminiscent of older arcades in this area, and it's a shame that it has to go. And I did get to try the Star Wars Racer game, which was a ton of fun, and it's a little bit difficult to learn to control at first because it has the two handles to control each engine, but a lot of fun. And of course, who could forget Skee Ball? I believe they used to have these games where you could win tickets from some of the games like Skee Ball, but back in about 2015, from what I've read, Disney had to take out some of those games because of a Florida law that made it seem a little bit questionable. And the large NASCAR game that you just saw is a lot of fun, and you can compete with about 9 different people, I think. And here's another Skee Ball there. And we're back to the Pinball Slam. That underground area kind of loops around behind the Pinball Slam, so we'll come out here and get our bearings and we'll walk over into the other area. You can see these spaceship type things hanging here, and that used to be a virtual reality game called Ride the Comics, but it's now closed, and of course all of Disney Quest is closed, but it was closed when we went this day as well. Here's the entrance again to the Explore Zone. And again, this used to be a slide that took visitors down to the next floor, and it was a lot of fun for people. Even adults would ride the slide, I believe, so I remember that from when I was a kid. And this is kind of a junction area where you can get to several of the different zones depending on which way you turn. And you can see all the directional signs pointing you which way to go. This building has no windows, and so it is a little bit difficult to get your bearings at certain points, but you can see there is a great map here that you can look at for all the different attractions and games on each floor. So if you look at the map, it isn't too bad, but it can be a little bit of a maze if you've never had been there before. And now we'll actually head into the Explore Zone, and you can see the sign for Aladdin, Pirates, and Jungle Cruise, and we'll first check out the magic carpets of Aladdin. You can see the genie's large hand forming the door to the attraction, or both hands I should say. And there's a really cool mural of Agrabah right next to the entrance to the attraction that's very well done, and actually kind of a shame that things like this are going away. And we can look over the balcony here to the Pirates of the Caribbean attraction, which we'll check out later, as well as the virtual Jungle Cruise attraction with the boats to the left going up and down. That's actually not Pirates. Pirates is to the right, and you can't see it from this vantage point, just the entrance. There you can see the sign for the virtual Jungle Cruise. And back on the floor we are here now, the sign for Aladdin's Magic Carpet Ride. So this is a virtual reality experience that guests could enjoy, and it was really amazing, especially at the time that it debuted. Now the graphics of course look a little bit dated in 2017, but it's still a great experience. You can fly around, and depending on which way you look, it will actually look that way, just like regular virtual reality, and it was one of the earliest virtual reality games that you could play, so it made it pretty groundbreaking at the time. And now we're going to watch the safety spiel video for this attraction. It's a really fun video, and I hope you enjoy it.
I haven't seen it in like years. Safety helmets are necessary. A game's used for good season considerably
Yeah, I'm about to start. Yeah.
There you go. Feeling yourself a five.
Alright, high five. Wait a minute, when next time I go to get some high five, so their hands up and everything.
Okay, because like you more
There you go. Oh, okay, so high five.
No, not that
it's your result.
You think that how advanced technology is today,
I think mommy got lost. Mommy, you went the wrong way. So now
Oh no, we did that already.
mommy got
We got 4.5
Now go before it's too late. Remember.
high five.
And now we'll head over into the Create Zone. As you can see, there are several attractions over in this area. You've got that amazing giant Pinocchio head here with the huge nose and the couch that you can sit around. That's a lot of fun. Got Sid's Create-A-Toy across the way, as well as CyberSpace Mountain and the Animation Academy, as well as the Song Maker over here. And the Animation Academy is actually a class that's taught by a Disney cast member and that you do on these electronic easels here, and it only has certain showtimes throughout the day. And here's a gallery of guest art, even though there wasn't a lot of guest art when I went in there. And here you can create a song by using your own voice. So this is the guest gallery, which is really small, and then the rest of it is just posters and things from classic Disney attractions. And from here you can go downstairs to the Emporium, the coat check, and the exit. Don't normally need a coat in Florida, but it was there anyway just in case. I love these animation easels, by the way, with the little Mickey Mouse feet as well as the mouse ear chairs. That's a lot of fun. And now we'll take a look at the CyberSpace Mountain attraction. And what you do is you design your own virtual roller coaster, and then once you're finished with your design, you get to ride the roller coaster that you designed inside of a simulator. And it's a lot of fun. And as you go, there are different track pieces you can select, and it'll tell you how intense the experience is. So if you want a really intense experience, you aim for a higher intensity number, and if you want a easier experience, then you aim for a lower number, and the cast members will help you. If you don't feel like yours was quite intense enough, they can even set you up with a pre-built track of your own there. So, and here's Sid's Create-A-Toy, and if you remember Sid from Toy Story, he was the kid next door that did all kinds of terrible things to the toys and created kind of Franken toys. So there's a game where you can do that, and you can look upstairs to the replay zone up there. But here's a look at the screen of the Sid Create-A-Toy game. And now we're back in the main hub area. And you can see we're actually up one floor from where we started. You can see the entrance to the Explore Zone as well as the Score Zone down there where we started on the 3rd floor. And there are the elevators that you enter on. And now we're in a fun area that used to be called the Wonderland Cafe. And at these little tables here, they had screens that allowed you to connect to the internet, which in 1998-99, when it first opened, was a very novel concept. And you could use your credits, which were used back in that time instead of just a flat admission fee, to operate the internet on these consoles that were there. And of course, now that everybody has a smartphone, a tablet, and every other device known to man, they're mostly just used for napping. They do have this bar area that's neat that looks out onto the hub. But overall, the design of the area is very whimsical and very reminiscent of Alice in Wonderland, which is a lot of fun. Although they don't serve food here in this cafe anymore, they actually serve the food one level up. But they used to serve different pastries and drinks and whatever you might expect to find in a cafe. And here you can see the cafe that I was talking about that's now closed. But this cafe area leads you over into the replay zone. And you can see some of the classic video games as well as Buzz Lightyear's Astro Blasters down there one level lower. So we'll take a bird's eye view of the Astro Blasters after we check out some of the classic fun attractions in this area. This view is my favorite in all of Disney Quest. I really love the way they put the stars along the walls as well as Buzz Lightyear himself floating above the game, and then you can see the multiple balconies that overlook the game itself. So it's such a big, imposing space, and it gives you a sense of awe almost as to what Disney created here. And it's neat to see the alien hanging from the wall there. Give you a better look at the track as well as the Nerf balls which you shoot at the rest of the vehicles. And since Disney Quest is now closed, I'm going into a lot of detail and showing all of the games that were here the week before closing. So if you don't want to see all these games in such detail, you can skip ahead a bit, but I thought it would be important for the historical significance of this particular attraction that we show as many of the games as we can and where the layout was when the attraction was closed in 2017. Now we're back in the score zone on this 4th floor. So we've left the replay zone, and we'll check out some of the games here in the score zone. It's kind of interesting that this Fix It Felix is over in the score zone, but I think as the years went by they just added games wherever they had space, and so the theming wasn't quite as consistent throughout the entire attraction as time went on. But they have several of these Fix It Felix machines, and I apologize for the lighting difficulties in my camera. The arcade machines are of course very bright, and the rest of the lighting in the building is very dim. These ships are the Ride the Comics games that I was talking about. It used to be a virtual reality game where you would battle different comic book characters with a virtual reality headset on, and there were 2 different types of these games, one on each floor, because it did get very busy. And you can also see the Pinball Slam game, which is down on the 3rd floor, 1 level lower. There's a look at the powerful projector that projects the images that you see there for the pinball game.
Grab any items located at the front of this room, exiting down those stairs behind you. Have a great day.
And since we're in the score zone, you're going to see all types of video games in this area, and you can look down to the lower level there on the 3rd floor and see some of the games from a more bird's eye view. But we'll take a look at all the different games on this 4th floor of the score zone. This large exhaust fan port looks down into the underground gaming area of the score zone, and it really makes it look like it's in a warehouse or something like that, so that theming to make it look like a classic arcade complex is a lot of fun. And now we're on the 5th floor, and this is the area called the Food Quest, which is Disney Quest's small little restaurant. You can see the top of the main hub room in here, which is a circular room, and the painting on the ceiling. And you can see there are tables and places for people to eat, and it's a little bit different than the Wonderland style lounge area down one floor, but they actually do serve food here, at least they did up until the last day it was open. And here you can see the sign for Food Quest. And this restaurant is really in a neat setting at the top of the hub area here. There's a lot to look at as you eat. And this hub is very well decorated, as I've said before. So it's just a really relaxing place to take a break from your gaming. And it says on the sign burgers, dogs, and wraps, but they actually didn't have all those things. And I think they were just gearing up to close, but they only had the options that you can sort of make out on the menu there. Sorry, the lighting is bad, but they just had about 5 different entrees. Or actually 6. There's a great look from here on the 5th floor all the way down to the 3rd floor where you come in. And besides the tables and chairs that ring the hub area on the 5th floor here, there's also this back room where you can eat, and it's really themed well with some of the neon lighting and just the modern architecture. It almost looks like a golden version of Tomorrowland to me.
Then I came up and asked.
And now we'll head back over into the replay section of Disney Quest. And this section again has some of the classic video games that you might remember, and just a wide variety and wide assortment of games. And I'm sure there are other arcades that have this many games in one place, but I don't think there are very many that have this wide of a selection, so it's a shame that it's not here anymore. But you see they had several pinball games here, even one based on Avatar. And again, these games were all free to play with your admission, whereas when Disney Quest opened, you had certain credits that you could insert a card, I believe, and each game took a certain number of credits. So I remember the first time I actually visited Disney Quest, I wasn't able to play quite as many games as I wanted because, we were trying to save money, and so we didn't get to play all the games. So it was kind of nice this last time to go and just play as many games as I wanted, not have to worry about all the credits. This is a food serving line that was out of service as of this date, and you can see the one that was open back there, but I think this was the one that it shows that it used to have pizza, panini, and pasta, but anyway, I think they moved things around as they were getting ready to close Disney Quest. And here's an original Donkey Kong machine, of course by Nintendo. And I imagine these machines will fetch quite a hefty price when they go to auction because they're fairly popular, especially if they're original machines. And they even have Donkey Kong Jr. right next to it. And right next to that is Mario Brothers. So they've got all the Mario style games right there in a row, which is nice.
Select first game or a single player game and press the start button.
And the cool thing about this particular area is that it sits right on a balcony that overlooks the Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters game. So you've got a really good view of the stars and Buzz Lightyear hanging there, as well as the other balconies that have all the different games in them in this replay zone. So it's just a really amazing space. I love the alien hanging on the wall there with one eye.
Carefully to the following game rules. Loading out, slide up to the rhythm, hit the button to rebound the rest of the game.
And now we're heading into the score section of Disney Quest. And we're on the 5th floor here, the very top floor. And you can see this is the place where Ride the Comics used to be. They're these spaceship looking things, and they used to have virtual reality helmets and stations. I don't know if they were exactly seats, and then you swung a type of weapon at the different enemies that you faced. And across the way is Alien Encounter Invasion, and of course down below is the pinball game. It's kind of dark, but here you can see some of the artwork for the Ride the Comics. There you can see it a little bit more clearly. Ride the Comics, that's the name of the ride that used to be directly behind us. And again, sorry about the lighting. The machines are bright. You can see Fix-It Felix and Pac-Man, even Burger Time. I remember that on the old Nintendo Cubert. But again, the lighting unfortunately is such that it's dark inside the building here, and then unfortunately the arcade machines themselves are bright, so it makes it really hard for the camera to figure out what the lighting is. So I tried to do this a little bit more slowly so that you can actually see each game. So here are some models of the Alien Encounter Invasion. This is just some of the characters that appear within the attraction itself. And here's the queue. That's some of the aliens that you might face. And of course this is loosely based on the alien encounter that you used to see at the Magic Kingdom. But really there isn't a lot of similarity. I think it may just be in name only. And now we'll take a look at Pirates of the Caribbean, the Battle for Buccaneer Gold. And this was a ton of fun, this interactive experience where it had up to 6 people shooting cannonballs basically at pirate ships, and if you sink the other pirate ships, you get their gold. So the more gold you get, the better you do in the game. So we'll go ahead and take a look at the queue area first, and there's several beautiful murals and paintings on the walls of maps, and as well as other pirate-themed things that you could think of. And here's one of the rooms where you actually play the game, and you can see there are several screens surrounding the ship, as well as 6 gun positions and 1 captain position. So somebody steers the boat, and the rest of the people will actually shoot the cannonballs. And you can see another group playing there, but it is in 3D, so you have to use 3D glasses to see, otherwise it's a little blurry. And here we are going into our own pirate ship, the Scurvy Scoundrel. And I'll show you just a little bit of the gameplay as we go, so enjoy.
Your pirates seeking treasure, then you'll have to sink a lot of ships. Gunners, move about. Use all the cannons. They're on both sides of the ship. You, Captain, steer up next to ships so your gunners have the best shot. If you sink a ship, you get their gold. And remember, dead men tell no tale.
Well, now we're back outside and finished with the game, so since we're finished, we'll go ahead and show you some of the murals that you'll see on your way out of the attraction. Here's one of the other gameplay areas. This one's called Blackbeard's Ghost. And some more murals on the walls as you walk by. Really pretty detailed. So now we're back outside of the Pirates of the Caribbean attraction. You can see the signs for the other attractions on this floor. But first, I love this exit sign. Curses on ye who enter here. It's only an exit. Thought that was pretty creative. So now let's take an overview of the first floor of this Explore Zone. You can see the virtual jungle cruise. And you can see the rafts those people are riding down there. It moves up and down almost like a waterbed. And so it really makes you feel like you're in the water. And then Pirates of the Caribbean is right next to it, which we were just in. And then you can see we're down on the first floor now, and we're looking at this Let's Go Jungle game, which we'll talk about in just a minute. And it's right by the virtual jungle cruise, so the jungle theme is very strong in this area. It's all about exploration. And we'll ride the jungle cruise here in just a few minutes. So before this Let's Go Jungle game was here, there was a game called Treasures of the Inca, but it was replaced with this Let's Go Jungle game. And it's a very long game. You can see that adventures can last 30 minutes or longer, so you're supposed to limit it to only one tour per visit. And you can see it's basically a shooting game. You shoot at the screen, different enemies, and just basically try and stay alive. So it's a game made by Sega, and it looks like each one of these machines would be fairly expensive because they're all shaped like safari jeeps. But before this was here, there was this game, like I said before, called Treasures of the Inca, and it involved all these video game consoles around the side of this particular room right here. Now it's been replaced with all these other games, but It's basically a steering wheel and a screen and some buttons that you can control these little remote control vehicles. There's the sign for it. They didn't remove the sign. It was again called Treasures of the Inca. And if you look over here to the left, it says drive a car in the maze. So that's what you were doing. There was a maze in the actual floor of Disney Quest here, and you would drive your little remote control Jeep vehicle in this maze. So it really took a couple people. One person would have to find where the car was in the floor, and the floor was wide open here. These Let's Go Jungle games were gone. And you'd drive through this maze and see if you could figure out where your car was and where the treasures were throughout the maze that you could go to. And it was a lot of fun. A lot of people were shouting back and forth, go left, go right, go back, go front. So if you can find another video of that on YouTube, unfortunately I don't have one, it would be worth a try to see that. Now let's take a look at the Virtual Jungle Cruise attraction. And you can see Jen and Dale are going to demonstrate this for us. And you can see you start in the Magic Kingdom, and then you get transported through like a time portal or something here. And now you're in the jungle. And you've got your guide telling you what to do. And you have to paddle to actually keep moving. So the paddles used to work a little bit better than they do now, that if you paddled more on the right, the ship would go left, and if you paddled more on the left, the ship would go right. I don't think it worked as well this time, and it even used to splash you with water. I'm not sure if it did this time or not. But anyway, let's watch Jen and Dale play this attraction, and we'll see where they get to. that's all for the virtual jungle cruise, and that's all from Disney Quest. We hope you've enjoyed this look at this now closed attraction. Now that you've enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe for the latest updates. Also, check out some other great videos on our channel. Have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. Bye-bye.